African nations have been seeing notable economic growth despite income inequality. The cost of living is still a problem, with basic necessities like food and utilities becoming more expensive due to local challenges and global market fluctuations. Mozambique leads the continent with the highest cost of living this year. Despite having rich natural resources, it's struggling to manage inflation, economic instability and the impact of natural disasters. In Senegal, the cost of living is almost as high and is being fueled by urbanization, increasing housing costs and inflation. The Ivory Coast has the third highest cost of living this year. The country, rich in gold, petroleum, but also gas, diamonds and a major cocoa supplier, is suffering from global price volatility and infrastructure challenges. Ethiopia's economic growth is in stark contrast to its high living costs, which are fueled by urbanization, inflation and currency depreciation. And Zambia is also confronting economic challenges, including high inflation and a reliance on copper exports. According to the World Bank, growth on the African continent is estimated to pick up to 3.7% and 3.9%. That's in 2024 and 2025, respectively. Hannah Ryder is an international development consultant and CEO at Development Reimagined, and she joins us now from London. Thank you very much for being with us today. So, first of all, why is the cost of living skyrocketing across Africa right now?
Well, let me caveat first that in many countries it is increasing and has been increasing. But remember, the African continent is very diverse. So there are a number of countries as well that have very low inflation rates. And part of the issue is every economy is very different. Some economies are significantly more exposed than others to the international increases in interest rates and also inflation. We've seen supply chain challenges, both through the COVID-19 pandemic and also due to more recent wars and so on. And so that is creating external pressure. And economies in the African continent, many are highly dependent on imports, do not export many goods that really have also benefit from those price rises. And so therefore, what they don't have is a lot of fiscal space. They don't have much space to be able to spend on things like fuel subsidies or food subsidies. And that's what's making it really difficult for people on the ground in your supermarkets. The cost of international goods is increasing, and then the cost of domestic goods isn't easily capped by government support. So it's a pretty difficult situation for many.
Absolutely. One question on ECOWAS, because the economic community of West African states is in tatters right now. What does it mean for the economy of West Africa?
Well, many of the regional bodies like ECOWAS and also other African regional bodies have been trying to come together so that they can have a lot more monetary union, also regional links in terms of trade, and that ideally or in principle would be able to deal with some of the challenges that they face internationally. So if you're not really dependent, for example, on foreign currency, you have your own currency, you're not pegged to the dollar, then you might have some more independence in terms of being able to deal with inflation and interest rates. The problem is that it really requires countries to come together and to also work in a very sort of intentional way. And many countries have different views. They have different political views across the region. And that's obviously a significant break to all of that.
Right. As you were saying right now, imports are higher than exports across Africa. Clearly, that's creating some serious trade imbalance. What can be done, though, to help with this situation? I mean, do you think aid from abroad would help, or aid from within? What are some real economic solutions and plans that can really be put in place?
We've got to remember that this is a long ongoing struggle. Even since colonial times, most of the founding fathers wanted to try to move African economies in a way that would create less dependency internationally, so that we don't have to be really exposed to all of these international issues. It's a long journey, and we need to have a lot more infrastructure. We need to also have a lot more manufacturing on the continent. It's a combination of using international finance, trying to find cheap borrowing so that we can finance that infrastructure, do that transformation, work with countries in their trade agreements, really shift the way that we trade, not just to be trading and selling raw materials, but to be selling manufactured goods. These are really big issues and they're not going to be solved overnight.
Right, cheap borrowing central as well. Hannah Ryder, thank you very much for your analysis. Pleasure having you on the programme.
Thank you.